Hi all. I want to do a short video today on cultural appropriation. So, cultural appropriation has been a really central theme in my life. I've changed my mind several times about how I feel about it. And I would say it started for me when I was born Indian. And I've had times in my life where people were really, really like just not about that at all. And people were would stay away from me. To the times where yoga and Madonna and popularized, henna and popularized yoga later on, yoga got popularized. And when we became kind of popular, then there was this sudden shift almost of like, oh, okay, some people actually really like your culture, but then there was a kind of like also like another movement of, well, people like your culture, but not only like your culture, they are obsessed with your culture or extremely fascinated by your culture, and that's what they want to bask in. And so it's been an interesting journey for me to kind of experience all the facets. And so that's where I'm coming from. And I want to share where I'm with it now in this practice and also how it's related to ancestor work and how ancestor work can really help with this. So to me, the roots of cultural appropriation really come from not having established or really understood one's roots in the body. And when I say the roots and how I'm relating that to ancestor work, is that the ancestors and where we come from and the lands we sort of originate on, and maybe our peoples have spent the most time on those lands, are really the roots I'm talking about. So let's say you live in the United States and your family got here, 5 generations ago or 6 generations ago or something. And so let's say one of your lineages, let's say your parents' people, your father's people are from France and your mother's people are from Germany. Um, so, um, but kind of what happens is our parents maybe came here, our parents' people, maybe they came here 6, 7 generations ago. And so the culture, that German culture, maybe never really got passed along, or maybe it got passed along for a little while. And then some mixing started happening, right? And then we sort of lose we lose like remnants of those cultures. It doesn't mean we lose everything. It just means we sort of like stop passing something along. So maybe the language is lost along the way. Maybe the food cultures are lost along the way that perhaps we did some holidays and whatnot are kind of gone. Um, and maybe there's bits and pieces, but they're for the most part not strong. So my people come from Sindh, Pakistan, and they come from pre-partition India. And so my grandparents were from there. So I consider my four roots actually from those lands. And then my parents, after post-partition, when my grandparents left, my parents wound up not being born on those lands. So then they were kind of one step removed. And to be honest, I can see that they had a lot of the Sindhi culture, which I don't really have. But they had a lot of the Sindhi culture for a while, but they didn't have as much as their parents did, right? They lost something kind of along the way. So they still retain some of the Indian cultures because they're still in the same country. Then they took the Indian culture and they came here to the United States, and then they had me, and they tried really to impart a lot of the wisdom, and they did, but they lost something along the way too, and I lost something along the way. And then if I had kids and it kind of went going and going, going, those kids, then, I'm married to someone white, my kids would have a bunch of different cultures, and you just would gradually start to lose that culture along the way. So it's a natural process. It's not, anything that anyone did. It's just kind of how it kind of has gone. But what happens with that is somewhere then, I think just further along we go, we sort of lose this sense of like, well, what's my root? And the body doesn't know. The body doesn't know its roots, quite literally, doesn't know its roots.